अरे वो अपना 701 वाला सीनियर है ना, उसको दूसरे कॉलेज के सीनियर से कल का कैंपस इंटरव्यू क्रैक करने की एक सॉलिड टिप मिली है एंड ही इज रेडी टू शेयर विद अस। बस बदले में उसको एक हफ्ते के लिए शर्मा के ढाबे पे ट्रीट देनी होगी। एन ऑसम डील।
तो ये देख,
ये क्या है?
701 वाले सीनियर को बोल GeeksforGeeks पे रियल लाइफ एक्सपर्ट्स की डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड कोडिंग क्लासेस along with superb tips to crack any IT interview and exam.
Hi everybody, I hope that I'm audible to you guys, and yes, welcome to another session of our webinar. And before beginning, hi. Yeah, so hi Vivek, hi Saneem, hi Manas, hi Amit, hi Vivek. Hello. Hope you all are doing fine. We know that times are not good in our country, and we have to be there with each other, right? And yes, and we are making it sure that your learning process, you learn every day. You add stars to your learning process every day. So that's why we have increased our frequency of the webinars also to not, a lag, to not make you lag in your learning process. So, okay. Hi, Sajad. Hi, Anurag. Hi, Archana. Hello, everyone. So guys, today's webinar, and for today's session, we have Mr. Nikhil Jain with us, who is a senior manager in American Express. So get ready with your questions and queries, because after I get over with my questions with him, it is your chance to ask, it will be your chance to ask your questions from him. So yes, let's begin the session, and you will all get the chance to ask your queries. So yes. Let's begin the session with adding Nikhil to the stream. I think there is, kindly wait. Yeah.
Hi, Shreya. How are you doing?
Hi.
Ashwarya, lost you.
Yeah. Actually, there were some internet issues. Yes. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. So how's your Sunday going? I know it's 1 p.m. only, and I'm asking this question from you.
I think it's going good. I just woke up sometime back and ready for the webinar. I hope everyone is good at your end, given the health crisis that hit the country.
Yeah, everything is fine currently. So yeah, I hope that everything is fine at your place as well, and your surroundings, in your family. Nikhil, let's start our today's webinar with a quick introduction about yourself. Our viewers would love to know about you. So let's start with that. So tell our viewers about you and your technical experience.
Sure. Thank you, Ashwarya. So I'll give you a brief introduction about myself. And basically, I am a BTech from SRM University, and I'm a BTech in computer science. And in 2014, I joined Mu Sigma. It's a company based out of Bangalore, and that was my first company. And I joined as a trainee decision scientist. And basically, my journey into decision science started from there, where I worked for 3 years, and I got experience of working with different clients from different industries, retail, energy, and banking clients. And basically, I learned a lot of things about this, starting with database management, how data of different companies are structured, how you process those data, and then probably working on the visualization. How do you, from the Excel reports, how do you create those dashboards? How do you present it to the stakeholders, the VPs of the company? And also, how do you do the modeling, the predictive modeling? So that was my brief, like 3 year stay in Sigma, where I learned a lot, where I got a lot of exposure. And past that, I joined in 2017 American Express, and here I am again working in the data science field, where my day-to-day work involves basically working with my senior leaders to extract data, to present insights, so that we can help business towards the growth and success. So that involves a lot of data pulling, data manipulation, getting insights from that. So using Python, SQL, data management, as well as predictive analytics. So
Okay. Yeah. So that's great, Nikhil. So moving forward, we would like to know something about data science only. So what is data science and machine learning according to you? And are both them are different subjects, or are they the two sides of the same coin? We want to understand that.
So basically, right now there are so many terms floating in the market. You have data science, you have data scientist, you have business analyst, data analyst, machine learning engineer, data engineer. So many terms, and it is very much close. All of them are very much close, but there are differences in each. So when we talk about data science is a wide concept, and that involves basically from data management to providing insights to creating some algorithms, predictive algorithms, where you involve machine learning, model deployment, and basically providing those insights to your leadership. So that's a whole suite, I would say, which is, it's a wide variety. So you involve a lot of SQL, Python, your visualization tools, and many other features. While machine learning, I would say, is particularly based on algorithms and mathematics, which involves stats and mathematics, and that is the core, you can say, of the data science, where you use different mathematical techniques and different algorithms to process your data. And basically, it is divided into two forms. One is the supervised learning, and another is unsupervised learning. So basically, you apply different techniques. People must have came across many techniques like logistic regression, machine learning, random forest. So these are different algorithms which are in the backend, which will help you to get those insights and basically tell whether you want to predict something, whether you want to basically label something. So machine learning is, you can say, part of it, but so it's a subset of the data science world. Machine learning is a subset of a data science world.
Okay. So now related to this question only, our next question is like, can you give some practical and real world examples of how ML impacts day-to-day life?
So I think there's so many examples out there, and like as you look, right, even like digital world, there are so many examples. Like when you go to any website, let's say Amazon, Facebook, you get recommendations, right? At the heart of it, there are algorithms which are running, machine learning algorithms, which basically track your behavior, track your pattern of using different kinds of web pages that you are using, what kind of videos you are looking, what time, or for example, what type of products you're searching. So all these algorithms track your behavior and try to basically assess or predict what kind of recommend what kind of products you might buy. So these are recommendation system which are running in the back end. Then in terms in Corona, in this COVID scenario, we have universities and companies which are researching on basically how the COVID can be tackled with. So you have data science where the vaccines are created, and basically a lot of modeling happens, where a lot of analysis and tests happen, whether the vaccine is working, on what test set it's working. And in retail, there are video analytics, image processing. There's so many things. Like, I don't think there is any industry right now which is not using data science to basically help them improve their results or help them take a informed decision. In banking, you have data science, which is predominantly used, and there's so many other fields.
Okay. So that's great. Now, moving ahead, we want to understand that there are a lot of questions in everybody's mind that what is the scope of data science? Like some people are still in doubt. So through this question, we want to clear those doubt of our viewers that what is the scope of data science and machine learning?
So I would say, I think the data science has evolved over the time and it will keep evolving. And the reason is because the amount of data that is getting generated every day. Right now, because of this digitalization of the processes in the world that we are seeing, I think every day TBs of data is generated, and for that you need a processing. And I think machine learning will will help in processing that thing, those data sets. So the scope I think is very good in terms of it's a field which will not disappear. Just like it's not a bubble, I would say, that will disappear in some years. It will be there. It will be tracked, and it will keep evolving. I remember like some time back when I started, like random forest and descent trees were a big thing, or let's say GBM models were a big thing. But nowadays, if you see, deep learning neural networks have become so predominant, and everyone is doing that. You open Facebook, there are so many channels which are showing that how deep learning is coming, or how deepfakes are coming, whereas neural networks and the power and the computation power of the system has increased so much that it's very easy nowadays for people to create these models. So I don't think, because of the advancement in technology and with the resources available, I think this will keep improving, keep developing, and it will go further. So it's a good field if you are interested in understanding algorithms, if you are interested in mathematics, algorithms, and if you want to solve real problems. I think it's a very good field to get into, and you would basically enjoy the work, given that you have that enthusiasm and that zest that to solve things, to solve different work problems, and there are so many things which can be solved through machine learning. So it's a very good field, I feel.
Great. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So now, Nikhil, actually, as this our platform is majorly we provide content for the students or the people preparing for their interviews and everything. So this question is not regarding related to interview, but yes, majorly based on that how they should prepare if they want to get into a job related to data science only. So we would like to know that how should one prepare themselves during their college days only if they want to pursue data science. We want to know a step-by-step guide to it.
Sure. So I think college is the right platform to start your preparation. It's not that it's a difficult path. It's a difficult thing to prepare. It's not like a competitive exam that you take a coaching for a few days or do some courses and then you're done. I think it's a iterative process or a continuous process. So basically, what one needs to start doing is start with the basics of what data science involves. So I think the basics of probability, statistics, and linear algebra are the basics where one needs to start with, and not get into too much detail, but understand the basics of it, how differential equation works, how your statistics works, what is the basic of statistics, mean, median, mode, what are different types of statistics techniques which are used. Probability is one of the most important topic that is involved in most of the algorithms. So understanding probability at its core, it's very important. So once you have that, the basics, then probably you can start understanding algorithm one by one. So you can start with a simple linear regression algorithm. You can understand the math behind it. What is the algorithm work? Why does that algorithm work in such a way? Have questions with you. Look at a lot of videos. There are a lot of content available over the net. You can watch a lot of videos. There are so many books available for free in terms of PDF that you can download and read. So working on that, I think step by step, planning it step by step, and not rushing through it. I see nowadays there are so many courses which are coming up over the net, which basically tells you that you will be a data scientist or probably machine learning engineer in 6 months, 1 year. Those courses are very good. I'm not saying they're bad. They're very good courses, but I think the pace at which they take you is quite fast, because I feel that in order for a long-term career in data science, you need to understand the basics, and rushing through basics is the biggest mistake one can make initially. So while you are in college, I would say the algorithms, how algorithms work, mathematical algorithms, computer science, take 1 or 2 languages like SQL or Python, practice them regularly, and solve trivial problems like looping. Like there are so many trivial problems that we get in college, right? In computer science, solve them. Try to create your own problems. Try to solve that, and step by step work on algorithms. You don't need to rush them. That okay, I need to finish in 1 month linear regression. Take your time. Takes time, understand them, and have as many questions as you can. Like, why is this working in such a way? Why it cannot work in this way? So once you have the questions, basically you will try to unearth more things out of that technique, and you will try to master that every time. So I think these are the ways by which one can start preparing for their career, and don't worry about the experience. I know many companies ask for experience. That do you have a prior experience? You have so many projects on Kaggle, and there are so many open projects out there where people have taken data set from the internet and done a lot of analysis, put a lot of machine learning algorithms. So I would say that don't rush into them, understand the basics, and then try to understand each algorithm, apply on data, and learn from that. Because in data science, the most important thing is practice. The more you practice, the more you explore, the more you learn. Because there is no end. No one can say that I know all the techniques, or I am the I'm the one who knows everything. Every day some new technique is coming. So probably keep working on the basics. That would be my advice, and that's how I thought I also learned in New Sigma, where I was able to create my foundation in data science by getting step by step, understanding the problems, talking to clients, talking to my teammates, colleagues, and reading a lot. Internet has so much information. You can have hundreds of articles on a single problem. Read those. You'll find some difference in the articles. Something.
Thank you so much for that answer, Nikhil. Now we want to know about more about the task of a data scientist, or what you do in your day to day in your organization, right? So we want to know more about it. So how does your day to day work life look like at your organization? Have you like to?
Okay, so actually there is not specific pattern as such that we follow every day, and but majority of the work, I would say, my day involves working with data. I would say that 50% of my time gets involved in working with data, exploring data of the organization. We have, as you see, that American Express is a very big organization, and there are tons of data over there. So we work on big data, and there are like so much information that you can explore. So you get everyday problems. Like let's say if you get working on a project, probably once the project comes in, you try to understand what is the business problem that you trying to solve. You try to create some hypothesis around it, that what are the probable answers that can lead to that towards that solution. And then once you have that, you start digging into data. You understand different data sources that are available in your company, be it internal or be external. You try to identify them. Once you have identified those data, then you try to basically manipulate the data, do data wrangling. So extract that data, make data, transform the data. And then you start, once you do that, probably the next step is basically to understand the data. So you basically do univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, and that is nothing but a fancy terms for basically looking at two variables, how the two variables are behaving, or seeing a pattern between them, or let's say one variable, how you are seeing how they're trending, or let's say what is a pattern. So understanding them, once you do that and a sort of analysis, then you probably want to see that what all information that will help you solve your problem. So once you have that, you probably get away with the noise, or probably, if I think simple term, unnecessary data, you try to remove it, which does not impact your problem statement. And once after that, the information that you have, the data that you have, you start working on analytics on that. So now analytics can be described in many ways. There is a DIPP framework, which is descriptive, inquisitive, predictive, and prescriptive. So generally, most of the organizations start with D and I, where it is descriptive and inquisitive, where you try to see trends in the data and try to infer from them that, okay, if there is a growth problem, can you see which products are growing, which products are declining, which categories of customer are improving our sales, which category is decreasing, and if the ones which are improving, why they are improving. Maybe recently there is a change in their behavior in terms of their region, in terms of some promotion, something like that from the data. So once you do that, you start getting insights from the data, and then once you get those insights, you then present it to the leadership. So it's a cycle of the project that goes on, and that project can stretch from 1 week to, let's say, 6 months, depending on the kind of project or kind of work that we do. But on day-to-day basis, the majority of the work involves data pulling, data manipulation, trying to find insights. A lot of external research also goes into side by side, where we try to find some linkages with the external world, how our company data, or let's say our behavior of the customers, is getting affected by the external world. So for example, let's say Corona came in, and you must have seen that last year a lot of companies, almost all the companies in the world, their volumes went down, their growth went down, apart from the technology companies, where they saw a surge in the users. So those are external factors which basically kind of impacts your customers or the user base that you have. So working on those kind of problems day to day, and that's how the days go out. And sometimes the day involves creating models, basically algorithms, understanding algorithm, researching on different algorithms, understanding, creating models. But there is not a fixed pattern, or let's say like for a software engineer, you have certain codes that come in every day, you change the codes, make some task and deliver it. It's not a fixed process, but it's a learning process, I would say. Every day you learn something new, and that's what interests me as a data scientist, because you are not limited by the scope of things. You have like the whole internet, the whole company data with you, where you can research and learn a lot of things, bring in new thinking into it, creativity. So
and
that's how the entire
that is the one reason why that is the one reason why this field and this industry is quite interesting. Yeah.
And I must also say that a lot of time also goes into meetings. Like I should not say that every time we are doing data pulls or manipulating data, finding insights, but there are times when we have a lot of meetings, basically to brainstorm the different problems, different ideas, because it's not just me who's working on a problem. There are many teammates who will be working, and they might be having different ideas.
Yeah.
So collaborating together is also one of the key things into data science, when you discuss with people, brainstorm.
Okay, perfect. Right. So now our next question from you, Nikhil, is that many people are mistaken that ML algorithms like neural network models and others are only useful for getting a job. So can you share your view on this?
I think that's a very high level question. I must say that machine learning algorithms like neural network or ADA boost, right? So as I told earlier, right, there is nothing called fixed right now in the job industry, in the current landscape of the market. I think the most important thing people are looking right now to get from candidates who are getting interviewed is trying to see what are their fundamentals and basics, how much basics, what is their grasp of the basics. So we all aspire, right, to get into a good company. Like, for example, people aspire to get into Google, Facebook, of the world, or like in top institutions, banking industry. I think the most important thing for anyone to get into that is understand the things that you're doing. Don't run behind things. Like if someone is doing like a neural network, let the person do it. Like, you concentrate on your career, your journey, your path of learning. So what I feel that these techniques are growing these days. No, that is definitely true. And with the advancement in technology, with the machine power that we have and the competition power, these techniques are basically, you can say, in 1 or 2 years, these will be the basics of data science because of the evolution of the power of machine learning. So it's good to know these techniques, but I don't think it's a must to get a job. I think there are many companies who still have their models running on logistic and simple models, logistic regression or linear regression, and very big companies have the processes which are running on these models. So I think instead of running behind big fancy terms like machine learning, deep learning, and all, I would recommend to start with the basics, focus on the basics, because at the end of the day, even if you dissect the neural network, it at its heart, it is using basic algorithms only. It's just that they have added, it's an ensemble model where you have combined 3-4 techniques and then packaged it in such a way that it's a black box, and it's kind of and you give it a fancy term as a neural network. But at its heart, it's a basic algorithm, basic mathematics, linear algebra, or which are being implemented, which kind of looks complicated, but it's not. So, and if you know those basics, I think these techniques are very easy to understand and learn. But again, I would say that it is good to keep yourself track with the technology and keep moving and understanding the latest technology or the latest algorithms that are coming in market.
Okay. Okay. So, Nikhil, what can help speed up a learning process? What do you think? A theoretical learning or practice on projects?
I think both goes hand in hand. It's not just you should you should keep focus on one. I would say for keeping focus on both equally is important because uh, when you start learning, right, when you start reading, you need to understand the concepts first. You need to read it, you need to understand it, look with some examples, and then you start practicing it. So I think most of the time what we do is, I think, is that we read a concept, we see an example on a YouTube or any platform, we see with an example, and we try to run that example basically in our systems or wherever, whichever mode of work that we have, we use that, and we feel that okay, we have now known this technique. I think that's the biggest mistake one can make initially. What we need to do is, like, after understanding a concept thoroughly, we should definitely look for videos or concepts or live projects where these techniques have been utilized. But I think that we should keep practicing those techniques also. I think practicing it makes it important because every year, every 6 months, every language, they get a refresh of their package of their coding practices. So in Python, you get a version release every probably 6 months or every year. So even if you try to learn a code or a language, it gets refreshed, it gets changed every month. You have new versions coming up. So practicing that is very important. I am sure that there is not a one way to do things. There are, like, if you're trying to solve simple problem like sorting, there are 10 different ways to do it in the same language, not even different language, in the same language. For example, Python, there are 10 different ways to solve a sorting problem. But the important thing is which one to use when, and why one technique is different, is better than the other, is important to understand. So practicing will help you do that. So once you have understood, okay, from net you saw 4 different techniques, how you can sort the data, probably practicing them and trying to be creative and try to find the 5th or the 6th method to do that same thing, and then try to evaluate which is the method, why this method is better than the other. Probably one is saving you computational power, one is saving you time. And also it depends on different scenarios when you need to apply one technique over the other. So I think both of them goes hand in hand, but theoretical knowledge becomes, I would say, becomes void if you're not practicing it. And there's always a saying, right? The practice makes a person perfect. So I think that goes without saying that practicing practicing more and more is very, very important, and it should not be that focusing on one particular technique, trying to find different ways to solve that particular same problem is where you will try to you will learn, and you will learn real things. So that would be my advice on this.
Okay. So thanks, Nikhil, for that. Now, like our title says that it's a roadmap to data science and machine learning. So next question is related to that only. Like I would like to suggest our viewers, that what should be the roadmap for students and what should be the roadmap for working professionals looking to upgrade or looking to upgrade in data science also. And the other thing is that students who want to go into data science. So please elaborate.
Sure. So I think the first and the foremost thing, which is which everyone must realize, is they should have this question in mind, that why they want to get into data science. I see that many professionals or the college students who have taken a different stream altogether, like for example mechanical civil, comes into data science and they do really well. It's not that they're not, because data science, it's all about algorithms, mathematics, stats. So there is nothing new. Everything we have done in our primary education, these concepts, it's just that they're a little advanced. So first thing one should understand is why they want to come into data science. Is it because of the curiosity? Is it because of the creativity? Or is it because of the money? It can be anything factors. And what I feel is most of the people try to switch their careers because of the money, and it's a very lucrative field. I know it's a high-paying job, one of the highest-paid jobs of 2020. And there is no harm if you have that objective too. But with that objective, I think the most important objective one should have is that curiosity of doing things. If you feel that you have that curiosity to learn things, keep evolving and understand new things, I think this is a good field. It's a great field to be part with. And if you are trying to switch your career, try to analyze that this question, that why you want to be part of this data science. And if you are able to convince yourself, you can start. Now, regarding the roadmap, I think the first thing that one should start with is understanding the fundamentals of statistics. So there are many channels on YouTube. I think there are courses available in Geek4Geeks, and there are many other platforms over YouTube, over Google, where you can start with the basic concepts of statistics. I think that's the first thing you need to start with. So don't go into too detail, but you can refresh your statistics, understand the basics. What are the basic techniques used in data science for statistics, test control, what are different types of tests, what is the hypothesis test that involves mean, median, mode, all these things. Another part is, okay, once you know statistics, then you need to understand the data. So this data management is the most important part of the data science. So basically you should know how to do data mining and data wrangling. So you need to understand SQL and Python in these. SQL is basically used to extract data from RDBMS and big data, that is Hive. So both of these places you use SQL. So you should have a good grasp of SQL. I think SQL and Python are the two main things everyone is looking for these days. So having a good knowledge of SQL. And again, for SQL, you have so many other platforms over the net where you can start practicing. So after that, once you have the command over data extraction, data manipulation, I think the next thing is how do you visualize the data? So basically start with Excel. And if your data is big, you can start with, there are other BI tools like Tableau, Domo, ClickView, Power BI. These are paid tools, but you can also look at YouTube for the videos where there are tutorials which will help you understand how dashboards are created. And you can also do it on Excel. No need to go for a fancy tool. You can do it on Excel, understand how things work, what are different visualization, what are the different ways you can explain your data, like there be bar charts, pie charts, scatter charts, which is the best way to show it, right? After that, again, a good grasp on one programming language. It can be either R, SAS, Python. Nowadays, Python is widely used because it's free, it's open source, it's free, and there are so many packages which provide support to Python. And Python is not just for data science; it is used in multidisciplinary in ways, like you have from data pools to database management to creating models to data deployment, and big data. All of these, basically everywhere Python is used. So I think Python is the most common language that is used nowadays. But you don't need to restrict yourself. You can use R, you can use SAS. Both are equally good. And once you do that, I think the next thing is get some basics of the big data, because earlier we used to run RDBMS data, relation database management, which was like a small database which companies had. But nowadays, because digital data is so big, you have Hadoop, where you have different architectures of Hadoop and different ways you can extract data. So working on those architecture, understanding the Hadoop architecture and how you have different languages like Hive or Pig, which works on Hadoop to extract data, you can work on that. So this was regarding the data science part. And if you're looking for something specific to machine learning, so I would say like getting the fundamentals of computer science, OOPS concept, like Python OOPS concept, what are the object-oriented programming, what are the concepts of OOPS, then what is statistical modeling, you need to understand that. Then what are the different algorithms, like there are so many algorithms which are in the backend, right? Understanding those algorithms. So basically it involves stats, maths, computer science. If you want to particularly understand machine learning, working on those models, creating those models. But if you want to just do data analysis, if you want to jump into business analytics or data analytics or data science, I would say understanding SQL, Python for data cleaning, data extraction, data visualization. You can have Excel or Tableau, and then also knowing a bit of how you develop simple models, be it regression, be it logistic, be it clustering. So I think that will give you a good start. But just if you are a working professional, if you want to increase your graphs of and if you're already working in data science and if you want to improve on that, you can start working on advanced algorithms, which are these days available, and you have all the code and all the concepts, all the papers available on Google, where you can just research and you can start working on those advanced algorithms. So I would say that you need to evaluate yourself. If you're a fresher, start with the basics. Just see what are the starting stepping stones of getting into data science. Work on them. Try to solve as many questions. Try to solve as many problems, and practice a lot. So that will help you to basically come up with different questions, solve different questions. And once you sit in a company interview, the person who's interviewing will basically check you how creative are you in solving problems. I don't think anyone will try to see that how good is your coding skills. What I feel is people try to see what is their approach towards solving a problem, how they're solving this problem, and if I give them a problem, if they can solve it in different ways. I think those are the things which actually are seen in data science interviews. I'm not talking about some other interviews, but in data science interviews. So that's how I think you should start with your journey if you're planning to start with data science.
Okay, so thank you so much, Nikhil, for this, because now I'm pretty sure that many of the doubts related to this have been clear of our audience. So thank you for that. Now, Nikhil, let's move on to another segment of this webinar. That is, I'm doing this today only. That is like play a game type, like let's play myth or fact. So there are some myths and then facts related to data science. I'll give you one by one, and you just tell them, is it a myth and why is it a myth and what should be done? What is the truth? And if it's a fact, then you can tell, right? So let's go with the first one. First one is this: that only science stream students or only CS stream students or only BTech students can go for data science and no one else. So what is your take?
No, I think that's a myth. I think anyone can join data science. It's not specifically restricted towards science students or BTech students. I've seen my colleagues who have done BCom, who have done arts. They are doing very well in data science, and there are people from different engineering backgrounds other than CS or ECE which are doing really good in data science. It's all about understanding a problem, understanding mathematics, algorithms, and if you're good and if you are okay with coding, I think you can start with a data science career. It's a very good career.
Okay. Moving on to next. You cannot switch your career into data science after years of experience in some other field.
No, again, I think it's a myth. I would say in my company itself, there are so many senior leaders who have a background into different fields. Like they were chartered accountant, they were from different into finance, and they have moved into analytics after 10 to 15 years. So I think the beauty of this field is that only that it does not see from which background you are. All it looks for is your creativity and how you are able to learn. So if you have a good learning spirit, if you are always eager to learn new things, and probably you have a good analytical or solving mind, I think then no field or nothing can stop you from getting into it. So it's a complete myth.
Okay. Moving on to the last one. It's this: interest in statistics and mathematics is important.
Yeah, they are definitely important. I think there are so many memes that come up when you look at Facebook, and this is that there are people who are holding towards data science, and there is one fee, and there is another line of statistics which is empty. So I think both are independent, both are depending on each other. You cannot do data science without statistics, and it's a subset of it. So you need to be good in mathematics, you need to be good in statistics, and there are if you look into the different let's say different resources, you will see that people have done programming where they are directly implementing neural network or machine, or let's say gradient boosting machines, without even a single thing of stats or mathematics. But that is fine when you create a model, but when you have to explain to someone, when you have to explain to your stakeholders, that's when the real thing challenge comes up, because that's all black box. You have to explain the mathematics and stat behind it. So it is a fact, you have to understand maths and statistics and algorithms.
Okay. So that was it. Thank you so much, Nikhil, my questions are here over. Now it's the time for our audience to put up their questions. I would request we'll go for the Q&A session now. I would
Sure,
request our audience who all are watching us, to drop in their queries in the comment section, and we'll take your questions one by one, and we'll try to complete the questions, all your questions. We'll try our best, and Nikhil will answer those questions. Okay, so first question, let's take this from Ashutosh. He is asking how data science is different. How does data science is different from data analysis? I guess.
analyst. So I think both are very similar. I think in data analyst you are not tasked for running models. I think you basically what you do is you extract data, you do a lot of data wrangling, data manipulation, clean the data, and then you provide insights in form of a Tableau dashboard or different visualization tools. So that's, I think, limited to that. And again, that involves a lot of stakeholder management also, because data analyst you are basically the management wants you to basically present it to the stakeholder, different teams. So that's where I think data analyst comes in. From data science, it's a very wide world, and data analyst, business analyst, machine learning engineer, all are part of it. So I don't say how it is different, but in terms of the responsibilities, data analyst is a subset of data science.
Okay. So next question is from Prathamesh. He's asking, after having command on one language, is it good to go in development like web development or application development, or fields like AI, ML, data science, big data, data mining, etc.?
So I think when you say command on language, I think that knowing one language right now is not good. Initially, for starting, it is good, but it's not good. If you think that if you know one language and you can probably survive, you can survive in data science. It's very difficult, because every 6 months you see a new language coming up. Every other day you see a new algorithm coming up, right? So updating yourself with different languages, but it's also very important that you should be good at one or two languages. You should be mastering that, but you should not shy away from learning other languages. At least know the basics of it. If you are not, because you don't need to program in like 10 different languages. You should know only one or two languages, and that too which are mostly used across the industry. So focus on those languages, and you should know the basics, or you should have an understanding of what other languages are, what are the substitute of the current languages, and how they are being used. So itself in machine learning, there are so many languages: Python, R, SAS, Go, Scala. There are so many other languages. So even I don't know all the languages. But what I do is, like, I have one or two languages that I've mastered on, and I keep learning new improvements on them. Plus, I just keep updated with the technology, what are the new languages, and if one particular language is getting, let's say, adopted across the community, then I'll start to learn that language. So probably you can look for communities, what is the response on that language, and all that.
Okay. Next question. Amedu. I just started learning Python self-taught. What other programming language should I learn addition to make me more?
I think Python itself is very good. I would to start with. If you have a good grasp on Python. In Python, there are so many varieties. Like, you have web development, you have modeling, you have deployment. So there is like Python. Don't consider Python as a one language. It's like a language with you can say multifacets to it, right? There are so many things you can do with Python. So if you are good with Python, you can probably explore the other areas where you can deploy Python, like web development or probably model deployment, how you use that. And if you think that those areas you don't want to work upon, let's say you just want to start data cleaning, data work, wrangling with data and creating models, probably you can also start with other languages like SAS or R, which are equally important and almost used across the industry. But there is not one particular language I would suggest. Probably you can see that which language is how the language is adopted. SAS, for example, is used across BFSI industry quite predominantly. So there it is used. So you can probably learn SAS if you want to go into the BFSI world, or if you can also learn R. And you won't find much difference between R and Python. It's very similar. It's just that there are a very little difference between the syntax of the languages, But in terms of the underlying how they work, what are the basics of it, I think almost both of them are similar. So if you have learned a one language, I would suggest you start focusing on concepts or and algorithms and try to deploy that with the language that you know.
Okay, let's move forward. Okay, this question is from Harish. Is data structure important for data science?
Yeah, it is. It is very important, and I would say that if the role is about data management, if you want to get into data architecture role or let's say data management role, then definitely it is important because you're expected to understand how the underlying data works, what is the architecture, how the data bases are created, what is the architecture which goes behind creating a database, or how you create those pipelines. So it is important if you are trying to focus your career in that way. But in case you want to do business analytics, or let's say if you want to get into data science, I think you should learn that part, but not in that detail. I would say knowing 20 to 30% of it is good, and the other part of it you can focus on basically understanding algorithms or any other particular language. So it depends on role to role. So I think that is important. So I think there is one particular role which is coming like machine learning engineer, which goes into detail of these things. So it depends what kind of career you're looking for.
Next question is from Akash. He's asking SD versus data science, which is more rewarding in next 10 years.
Both are a very high paid job, and obviously SD is a high paid job because there even the expectation is high. You need to understand the entire stack, how the software development stack works, right? So basically that starts from creating a database to deployment. So there are so many languages, so many technologies that you need to learn, and it's a wide thing. So if you feel that you want to get into that part of the world where you want to deploy databases, deploy models, and basically understand the architecture and manage those entire process of data, I think that is good for SD. But if you want to get into data science, then probably I think we have discussed a lot then how you should focus on. So I think you need to understand what suits you, what is where your interest lies, and both are equally rewarding.
Next question is, can we get a job in machine learning field as a fresher?
Yeah, why not? You can. So I think even if see for fresher, I don't think it should be a problem for anyone, be it a fresher or be it a tenured person. For you to get a job into machine learning, you should know the concepts of machine learning, and again focusing on the part that you should know the basics of it. Tomorrow, if you do a course and you do some coding on that, and you run a model, you do a project, and you get results, and you feel happy, that is good. But I think the next part that you need to do is get into details of it, that how the algorithm worked, why it worked, the way it worked, how you need to, and there are so many other parameters when you create a model, right? So understanding those and focusing on one or two techniques initially is good. And probably when you're interviewing, you can mention them, so that for an interviewer, if that person is really looking for a fresher, he would try to see the basics of it, because anyone won't expect you to have experience of the corporate world, right? So all you're left with is the studies, the algorithms, the basics. So if you have a good command on that, if you have a good practice on that, I think you can definitely get a job into that. And there are so many jobs coming up. There are you can say startups which are coming up, where there are so many companies which are opening their doors towards machine learning, data science, business analysts. So definitely they are recruiting freshers for sure, and you can start with that. Apply. There are so many platforms you can apply. You can start getting.
Okay. Next question related to this only. Bhavik is asking, like, is BTech enough for data science?
Sorry?
Is BTech enough for data science?
I don't know to that question. I'm a BTech and I'm quite satisfied right now. So I would say yes, but there is no stopping from you to do the courses. and getting degrees. I've seen many of my friends who did BTech, then they did uh, MBA and MTech, and then they did PhD, and they are also flourishing in their field. It all depends into where you want to go. If you want to get into research, I would say you should get into further studies, probably an MTech or PhD. If you want to get into a corporate world where you need to understand stakeholders, manage stakeholders, you can probably do BTech, MBA with this, and then you can start with it. And but there is no limitation that a BTech guy cannot do research or a BTech guy cannot manage stakeholders. Nothing like that. It's all about how much hard work you put in, how much you learn, and how much you explore. So I think that is a good part. One particular question, Aishwarya, that I can see is from a LinkedIn user, Balraj Bhagyat. Why not? You should start reading ISLR books and courses from Cognitive Class AI. So this particular question I wanted to focus on ISLR.
Okay. Can machine learning graduate get into data science? Balraj Bhagyat.
No, so on top, no. So there's a LinkedIn user. You should start reading ISLR book and courses from cognitiveClass.ai.
Okay. Okay,
So
you can continue.
yeah, so I think that he raised a very good point. Whoever wrote that answer, ISLR is a very good book. You can start with it, and you can go through that book. Probably it will not take you more than 3 months to go through that book. It's a very good book to start with the basics. And there are so many algorithms which starts with the basics and take you to high level algorithms. There are on YouTube there are so many videos which have explained the ISLR in step by step for each chapter. So if you search for ISLR videos, you will get a ton of videos. If you don't want to read, or if you a person who like to watch videos rather than reading books, you can watch those videos. Or if you like reading, you can go for ISLR. But make sure whenever you are reading ISLR as theoretical, make sure that after end of each chapter you practice the questions, because if you don't practice those questions, if you move with the theory, mark my words, after a month you will forget everything. So in this field, whatever you read, you have to practice and keep practicing. It's not just one time you practice and you will forget. It's a forgetting curve, basically, that after some time people tend to forget. We don't have photogenic memory that we will learn everything, we'll keep remember. So practicing things, whatever you know, keeps you in the field and keeps you up to date. So I think for that particular question, comment, I think you should definitely do. And if you want to get into deep learning AI, so there is a YouTube channel from N2NG where you have all the videos and courses from him. You can probably also start with those, but those are very high and advanced level videos and topics. So I would suggest that if you have started with data science and if you have understanding of the basics, then only you should hop onto that. Else you should not start directly with those things. So I think cognitive.ai is where you have all these videos.
Okay. Next question is next from Shivam Jha. He's asking, will having ML projects on my CV help with product-based companies landing a job with product-based?
So it's always good to have a good CV. I would say that if you have machine learning projects on your CV, it's from the interview point of view, I think it kind of highlights your resume from the rest of others, because if you have done a machine learning project, and by that it should be a machine learning project, it should not be a data analyst project. So if you have done that, I think that will separate your resumes from the other and highlight it, because when you implement machine learning, you are not just implementing an algorithm, you are implementing kind of a problem, what problem you solved and what are the different ways you approached it, and what things you learned when you solve those problems. So I think that is what the recruiters try to see and try to understand from your resumes and while they are interviewing you. So it's always good to have those projects, and it's not absolutely necessary that you should have done it in a corporate. You can work on a Kaggle. There's a Kaggle where you can have so many projects, so much data. You can practice there. You can have your own codes. You can practice. You have different hackathons. I think Geek4Geek also organizes different competitions. So probably taking part in those. So these are just ways to help you learn. So probably you can highlight those also in your resume, but you should have definitely worked on those and practice those. Just if you're highlighting something that you have not done, you might be able to skip you can say fox few interviews, but in the end, if someone gets into details, probably you might not be able to explain. So I would say add those projects that you have done, and if you have done a machine learning project, be not be it in a corporate world, but if you have done it some other platform, probably put those are also good.
Okay. Next question we'll take from Anshika Mishra. She's asking how can one get a good internship in data science? I'm a second year student, CSC, and I'm interested in data science.
There exactly. See, I am not sure about what's the process of getting internship. I think how probably reaching out to different companies, to their HRs, or to someone if you know in the company, and start applying early from, let's say, third year. Try to see what companies are actually wanting in an intern, right? So what technical skills, or let's say non-technical skills, they want in an intern. Probably develop those and try to reach as many companies as possible through LinkedIn, through their HRs and all. So that might increase the chances of getting an intern, and that's all I think. That's how it might work. And you don't need to apply for a very good company or a very big shot company. You can even apply in startup, because I feel that as an intern you have all, you are expected to work in a big company or a startup in equal way. So you should try to see which company or which where you are applying is giving you a good opportunity to learn and apply there. So
Okay. So let's take up one last question. If you want to answer some question, if you are seeing some question interesting, Nikhil, you can also suggest me.
no, I think most of the questions are on the same theme. So, and one thing I
Yeah.
just want to highlight, which I think I did not in early part, is that when we why do we use machine learning techniques? Right, that is also very important to understand that. So basically, when you look at data science, right, there are a lot of problems that you can even solve on Excel, right? You don't need to involve any deploy any model for that. But but you need to understand that when do you deploy a machine learning algorithm. So basically, there are two parameters that you need to analyze. One is time and another is complexity. So if you want results quick and fast, right? If you want them to be really fast, you can then that is one parameter that you need to look after if you want to, whether you want to apply machine learning or not. And secondly, complexity of the data. So there you we as a human, right, we have our own limitations. We can look at hundred thousands of rows, but beyond that it's very difficult to look at the data or analyze the data, right? So when the data is in billions of rows, then it's humanly not possible. So that's when you will actually apply machine learning techniques, because those techniques will help you to find patterns through the data which by our naked eyes we are not able to, or by our sense of understanding we might not be able to. So that I think those are two parameters that you need to keep in mind when you are deploying a machine learning algorithm: time and complexity.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last
sorry.
question we take from Anil Kumar. Which courses are the best for preparation to get a data science role?
So there are many courses, and one of the courses I think is from GeeksforGeeks also.
Yeah.
Machine learning fundamentals of Python. You can start with that. Apart from that, there are many platforms available over the internet. So in YouTube, there are many channels. I can highlight those, name a few channels. Probably you guys can mark those and you can start watching the videos. So if you want to understand the basics of stats and mathematics, you can start with three blue, one brown. There is another channel called with the name Josh Starmer. He's a very good. His videos are very good and very simple. And then there is one more guy called Brandon Folds who has a good set of videos on statistics. So these three people tells you the basics of stats, maths, algorithms. So you can definitely watch those. And if you want to basically learn Python, just the Python, there are two channels. One is Corey Sheffer and another is Data School that you can go explore. These people concentrate on Python, and they have explained Python very nicely, very simply, very in a simplistic manner. So definitely you can do that. And if you want to understand, let's say, some high-level videos, you can reach to NPTEL. That is that is an Indian website of IITs where IIT professors and they have taken courses, lectures from the classes. So you can watch that. Then there is something called MIT Open Courseware, There also you have quite good videos on the basics, on the advanced algorithms. And there is one more channel called Artificial Intelligence. So there you have a lot of videos from different universities like Stanford, like University of Michigan, where they have these videos on the classes that they have taken on particular topic, and N2NG as well. So these are some of the few things which I regularly watch over the YouTube, and these are some very amazing channels where you can start exploring. And definitely ISLR, this is the basic. You can start with it. In just case you don't want to go to YouTube or videos, you can start with the reading. You can start with ISLR.
Okay. So that was pretty much about our Q&A session and the webinar, Nikhil. Thank you so much to our audience for being so active in the comment section, and I hope that we cleared your doubt. And I would like to thank you, Nikhil, as well for clearing all the doubts of our audience and as well as mine, because yes, thank you so much. And yeah, again, thanks a lot for taking out time in this situation and helping our students, because we are like that this is the very crucial time is that college students are like very much confused in their decision making process, okay, whether to go in this field or not. So yeah, this session must have helped them a lot, and has given them a lot of insights about what data science and machine learning actually is. So thank you very much for this session.
Thank you, Aishwarya, and thank you for all the participants who joined the session. I hope that I was able to solve some of their queries. And like I completely reckon with you, Aishwarya, that this stage where we are into college, where we are into our last years, we try to understand what career we should take, right? And that has happened with me also when I was in college. Where should I move? And I got selected into two companies, TCS and New Sigma, and both were completely different fields. So I just chose New Sigma because I saw that data science is a good platform for me to basically survive, to where I can take my career, and I don't need to think about switching a career afterwards. And honestly, I hated coding that time, but I didn't really know that data science will also involve coding. But definitely, I think it is important for you to first understand what is your curiosity, what is that you want to do. Just don't go by what your friends are doing or what people are doing. Try to see what you're interested in and analyze that. You have a lot of time in college. Probably start exploring it from the third year, that what you want to do, which field you need to take, and work on that. Look at different forums, you have Google with you, which has so much information. Probably look at that, do some courses, try to see whether you are fitting this job or not, whether you want to make a career. And if you think that it is good, then go for it. Because many a times we try to imitate what others are doing, and then only realize that we might not be happy in that particular job. So don't do that to yourself. Try to understand it, and make good and wise decisions.
So thank you, Nikhil, once again, and we hope that we could invite you back with some other session, and you can give us more insights about various topics, various other topics. So
Sure.
yeah, thank you again. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
Have a great day, and please take care, everyone.
Yeah, bye. So, guys, that was it. That was our today's session. I hope that this various doubts and various myths about data science and machine learning have been cleared through this session. And yeah, there is this. We have this course of machine learning with Python. And guess what? The correct webinar, the correct learning at the correct time, as we are giving 10% discount on our machine learning with Python course. So if you want to excel and start your learning in machine learning and data science, go for this course and apply for the code PAYDAY, PAYDAY, to grab 10% discount on this course. The link is in the description below. Now, two major and important announcement for the day is, like, one is our Google coding contests, and it's an interview series. It's a coding contest that will prepare you for Google-based coding questions, and it will happen today evening. The description is having the link of the same below. You can click on the link, and you'll get all the information regarding that coding contest. So don't miss it out and learn what is it about. Second, we all know that our country is not in a really good situation, the pandemic situation. So at Geeks for Geeks, we have organized a coding contest that is named as Code to Contribute. So for each participant, we'll be providing meals for one family, and the participation in this contest is free. So it's the time when we should help our community, and this is the way that we can help our community. So your participation makes it more better for us. So if you'll participate, we'll be able to contribute more and more to the society. It's your participation who will scale up this contest. So guys, the link of the same, the code to contribute, is also in the link below. It will start from today also. So just check it. And yeah, also if about the COVID resources, its link is also in the description. It's a combined, all the resources related to COVID scenario has been combined and put it in that particular link by Geeks for Geeks. You can check out. And also, if you have any requirement, you can share your requirements, your anything on our social media platforms. One is Instagram, one is Twitter, and we'll try our best to share it in our community and get you a help. So yeah, these are tough times, and we have to be together with each other. And don't miss the two major contests. That is our Google coding contest series, and the other one is Code to Contribute. One is for the learning, and the second is for the society purpose. So for humanity purposes. So let's let's go for it. Let's not miss anything. Let's grow ourselves, and let's grow our society, and let's help our society as well simultaneously. So guys, I am hoping a lot of registration in that as well. So check out all the links in the description, and we'll see you with another session of webinar soon. So till then, take care, be safe, take care of yourself and your family. Bye bye.